Okay, we're going to be disassembling and cleaning my paintball marker here. Just got to go over what I'm going to do. Right over here, there used to be a Phillips head, which I removed because you do not need it. And all the attachment points. That's the last piece. Now when you do this, when you take it apart, you have to be very careful. Springs will pop out all over the place. The spring, the safety wheel, the rear. I'll show you the internals. Carefully lift it up very slowly, all sides. You do not want to lose any of your springs. Okay. Wow, that's the first time everything came out in pretty much one piece. So everything is sitting in here just like this. We're gonna go over that. Alright, so what you're looking at here, got your trigger. We're gonna go over this whole system. So you got the trigger right here with a connecting rod. I don't know the names exactly for these parts, but I'll just give them based off what I know. So trigger, the connecting rod to this sear spring, and then this is the actual sear right here. And so what happens is there's this groove right up in here, and you pull this back. I'm going to try and show you the action of this. So you pull this back, and it's going to catch on this sear that's going to, there we go, that jumps into place like that. So you pull the trigger, and this pushes this back, and this also has a small spring on it, and when that gets pushed back, it releases the, just going to show you very slowly here, just like that, and that's how it fires. So there's two springs that you don't want to lose. One right here for the trigger, which makes it bounce back up into place. That's very easy to lose. And there's another one spring right back here for the sear. And then there is also another spring inside of this thing, but though you don't really got to worry about taking this thing apart. You can take it apart, just don't. It's complicated, so create less complication for yourself. Alright, so that's the system for the trigger to the sear that catches the bolt. And now the bolt has this rod in it, which connects to the, this is the air system bolt, and this is the bolt that you used for where the paintball drops down into. So yeah, it's got a rod that connects this whole thing to this, and when it fires, this whole thing slides back and forth. Alright, so now we're going to go over what you want to lubricate and what you don't want to lubricate. We're going to go over the air sealant system real quick. So your air comes in from here, goes up into this. You do not ever have to disassemble, or nor you should never disassemble your air system. So that is held into this chamber with air. And here we have an O-ring right here, this orange O-ring. Orange is not the original color. I replaced this a while ago. So that O-ring keeps the air sealed in there. And now we have another O-ring here. I'm just going to take this connecting rod out so then you can access the bolt better. There's another O-ring right here. and this bolt is what slides along the air system, the end of the air system here. So the air comes out there. This little orange thing right here, right where my thumb is, that's called a detent, and that keeps the ball from, this compresses down when it's time to fire so the ball can leave the barrel, but though this prevents the ball from falling out the end of the barrel when you're just walking around. So what you do want to lubricate on this thing are those O-rings. Slightly, this O-ring, you do not want oil on your bolt because it will make the paintball inside of it wet. And I've had a paintball before break pretty much, like it didn't fully break, but though it compressed and it got stuck and jammed up my gun here right when I went out onto the field. So do not put oil on your bolt here, for the front at least. Just worry about oil back here. This bolt back here operates off this spring. This spring has a rod in the center that goes into the end cap, and this O-ring that you see right here, this gray one, that's more of just a cushion for the bolt when it slams back when it fires. Alright, so we're gonna go over this. We're gonna disassemble what we gotta disassemble, clean what I gotta clean. So this piece goes in just like that. Line up the holes. It goes together like that. That can go through. Make sure your bolt isn't upside down. You got to make sure this little catch groove for your sear, as I showed earlier, is down. The catch sear goes back on. Don't lose your spring. These pins here do come out. Every single pin comes out, and you need these pins for the small parts to pivot and hinge on. Any part where metal touches on metal, I want it lubricated. So with these pins, tap each one down, make sure it's as far down in there as you can get it. There's a little bit of concerning wiggle room right there in the trigger. Otherwise it's good to go. Making sure everything is fully pinned down. Now I can install a bolt. Take the handle. And then your little back end here. Back end cap. Okay. Now I guess I'm just going to lubricate this softening O-ring here too, so that doesn't break while it's in. Everything is set and tight. The guide rod for the top bolt needs to go back, that's the only thing. Alright, so on this piece here, there's a shallow end, and then there's an actual little divot. So if you just look it up, or you look at the fittings, you'll see how the puzzle fits together. Alright, guide rod. Okay. Alright, we're going to test everything out now. Let's close her back up. Time to put all the other parts back on. Okay, it's time to test the marker now. So what we're going to do is hook up the air. Got the hose right here. Show you how this goes in there. So this hose has this kind of attachment. You just pull the ring back and attach it onto your nozzle, let the ring go, and it's on there. I forget what they call this, but this is a slide check valve. Yeah. So you push it forward, push it backwards. In the forwards position, the air is flowing. In the backwards position, it is not flowing. Now the tank itself has a nozzle. When the nozzle is up on these remote line, this is what this hose is called, a remote line. Let me just show you the tank real quick. So here's the nozzle. When it's up, that means it's off, but when it's down, that means it's on. Alright, first your hose will charge up with air. And then, not all hoses have a slide check, so sometimes it might just go straight into the gun. But this one's got a slide check, and you're about to hear it now. There we go. It's charged up. Okay. About to make it as non-audible as possible. Okay. Here we go. Safety off. Pull it back. It's good to go. Pretty damn loud. Alright, to degas, you're gonna undo your slide check there. Gonna dehook, so slide check down before you dehook it. Otherwise you're gonna be spraying air all over the place. Your hose is gonna be all over the place like that. And then you're going to turn off your air tank, but you're still not done yet here. It's one small last little step. Your hose is still charged up with air if you got a slide check, so gonna release that air. And there you go, the hose is now released. Well, that's it. It's Stay tuned for more modification videos, maintenance videos, and all this other stuff. You might find something useful.